Hi there. I am the CRM Ninja, and on today's episode of the Oops Factor, I have Hardit Bhatia. Welcome to the show, Hardit.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be here.
Super excited to have you on. We've chatted a lot on various communication channels, but never actually spoken before, so it's great to be talking to you.
Yep, finally getting to see you.
Indeed, so the joys of modern communication, video chats. So I wanted to ask you a specific question. In fact, my background may have already given it away because I understand that you have several hobbies. In fact, I understand you have lots of hobbies, but I've picked just one, being table tennis, because in my background is table tennis or ping pong or whatever different people call it. So how is this exactly a hobby? I don't know many people who have table tennis as a hobby.
So it's funny because when I was a kid, I met with an accident when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
And I wasn't allowed to do a lot of outdoor activities.
Okay.
So I started looking up, what are the different games that I can play without going outdoors? And of course, table tennis was one option. I really liked it. There was badminton as well, but that didn't excite me that much. So there was a club. I joined it, got a little bit of coaching. I actually got super involved and represented my school, my district, and played at the state level as well back in India.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really cool. And there's actually this joke. So my father used to play lawn tennis.
Okay.
So I told him one day that whenever I go play table tennis tournaments, there is hardly anybody in the crowd and definitely no girls in the crowd. I'm like, that's not cool. And he's like, yeah, you need to move to lawn tennis. I'm like, cool. I think I'm going to make the switch. So that's why I didn't pursue it further. But then now I actually have a ping pong table in my garage. And having that solved one problem, but the second problem is obviously finding someone who can, play with you and one that plays at a similar level, because if he or she is too good, you will have fun, but the other person will not. And if the other person is not that good, then you won't have fun. So, and not a lot of people in US play ping pong, at least not the ones that I know, right? So with tennis, I knew there's a ball machine. With lawn tennis, so I could just order one, go to the court and play. I'm like, there has to be something for table tennis as well. So I Googled and found a ball machine specifically for table tennis.
That's really interesting.
It is awesome, like really cool. You can adjust its top spin, side spin, frequency, speed, and oscillation. You can make it random, so it goes to your backhand or your forehand, and then
please tell me there's an app to control it.
There is actually one with a remote control. That one is crazy expensive though. Yeah, that's like $2,000. Mine is pretty cheap. It's like $200 because it's hardwired, and you have to control it with a remote that is wired to the machine. So, but no, I'm not complaining. It's pretty cool.
I wasn't accusing career. That's really cool, because obviously, I mean, I think everybody has seen, one form or another, whether it's in real life or in a film or something, the lawn tennis version of it. I've never come across one for table tennis before.
Yep. I don't think anybody who I've spoken to has seen it before. So I've actually even recorded a small clip. I'll share it with you. Definitely take a look. It's so awesome. I think more people need to know about it.
I would agree. I play table tennis a little in my teens. I wasn't really much into outdoor sport in that way, and the thought of regular tennis meant I had to run around far too much. But in school, in the gym, we had a table tennis table. So in lunch break or whenever else we could skip off, we used to go and play and do some really strange things and trying to, like serve the ball from 4 meters away in the air to make a bounce and stuff.
Yep. That's the beauty of table tennis, right? Almost anybody, irrespective of skill level, can at least play table tennis, which is not true for lawn tennis as an example. The
That
ball
is
may
true.
never get across the net if you're playing lawn tennis and you don't know anything about it. Table tennis, you can pick it up in like 5 minutes. I'm not saying you can become a pro in 5 minutes, but you can
That
start
that's
having fun in
that's at
5
least 10 minutes to be a pro, right?
minutes. Yep. So that's why I really like it. Anybody can just pick up the paddle and start having fun with it, which at the end of the day is the most important thing.
Awesome. So are you playing generally by yourself now, or have you managed to find somebody as well to play against?
There are a couple of friends in the neighborhood. Not they don't come to my house that often, only because they have their own kids, and every weekend when I message them, they're, oh, my kid has a swim class. My kid. I'm like, dude, just let them go on their own. Come here, let's play some ping pong. So whenever they manage to come, then obviously it happens, but not that frequent. On that topic, I actually just found out a few months ago that there is the biggest table tennis center of US 15 minutes from my house. It is mind blowing. They have 18 Olympic size table tennis setup. So not just the table itself.
Wow.
Itself obviously is awesome, but you have that much space around the table as what you would have in Olympics.
That's
and
incredible.
18 such setups. So
that's incredible. I mean, I was just thinking off the top of my head, it just came to me in a flash, just what you were describing, your friends and kids swimming. What about playing ping pong, table tennis on a board in the water, like water table tennis?
Yep, that would be cool.
That would be very cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, we need to think about a way to trial this.
Yeah, maybe that will attract more friends to play that game more often.
Yeah, folks, you've heard it first when you see all the ads for it and you see Amazon offering this as an offering, right? This is where it was invented.
Yep.
This is where it was invented. So going from table tennis to the Oops Factor, what do you have to share?
I don't know. Like I said, I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of which honestly I didn't realize until I was answering that question. And I was like, okay, table tennis, lawn tennis, cricket, obviously coming from India, has to be a hobby. Oops Factor, I guess. Oops Factor about myself.
Could be about you, could be about, something you've been involved in, could be personal, could be professional.
I worship Roger Federer. If somebody
I'm sorry, that just I'm aware of Indian culture of worship of the Indian gods and stuff, and in my mind when you said that, I imagined you having a little shrine with a statue of him.
Yeah. It may not be that it may not be that big a stretch. You might actually see Roger Federer behind me in a few days or months after he retires. But no, seriously, like if somebody tells me, are you lying? Typically people say, no, I'm telling you the truth. I swear by whatever, right? I actually say, Roger Federer swear, I'm telling you the truth. That is like the ultimate for me.
I've never come across anyone who's I can truthfully say that I've never come across anybody before who's who does that.
Yep, I am crazy about him. When I met my wife, I actually told her, Roger Federer is my first love, so you will have to be content with being my second love. So
I bet she was glad that Roger Federer never asked you to marry him.
Yep, I'm sure if he would have asked, trust me, I would have gone ahead with it. I love that guy.
I hear
I shouldn't be telling this, but nobody's going to come access my Wi-Fi, but my Wi-Fi password is Sir Roger Federer.
Now we need to mask where you actually located.
Yep. So I have knighted Roger Federer in my home.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Wi-Fi password is Sir Roger Federer. Yes.
So apart from Roger Federer, who you're very into, so have there been any circumstances in life where things haven't worked out for some reason?
Like I said, when I was a kid, when I was 3 years old, I met with an accident.
Okay.
It was not cool, obviously. But somehow managed to come out of it. That was a huge setbacks, one that I wasn't even aware of at that time. So that was a big challenge. And then I think ever since that happened, I've had this feeling or mental ability to keep fighting for what I want. So I think that setback in a way changed a lot of things for the rest of my life. So
wow,
yeah, it
it's
was.
it's difficult as children, especially as parents of the children, to go through something. So when you say it was a setback, is it okay to ask what sort of setback, how it affected you at the time?
Yeah. So I had a metal frame fall on me on my left hand side, so it fractured literally everything that you can think of: my left hand, my left leg, a
Oh,
portion of
bloody
my left
hell.
skull. It was horrible. I was in bed for like a year. I think, and again, I don't know off the top of my head, but from the stories that I've heard, the guy who was driving the ambulance was telling my parents that there's traffic and I don't think we can make it. So just be prepared that it may not happen in time. It's like, okay, I mean, I was probably unconscious. I don't know, but yeah, I was in bed for 1 year. I still remember I used to have chicken broth as my meal, day in and day out for 1 year. And yeah, it just led to a lot of weakness. Like I said, I couldn't play much outside.
Right.
So I wasn't allowed a lot of outdoor activities, which, I mean, if you're a kid who's like 3, 4, or 5, you want to go out and play.
Yeah, that's true.
So that didn't happen. So I think it just, yeah, it was just weird. Should not happen to anyone, irrespective of what age they are.
Agreed. It's definitely not. I mean, I guess the only thing I can really say is that, being as a child, it's not necessarily there as, permanent memories, and also children heal a lot faster than adults. I mean, the stuff that my kids go through and throw themselves off, my 2-year-old throws herself off the stairs into my arms. I'm like, I as an adult would never jump willingly off that height into anybody's arms, even if it was Superman. And that's, I used to jump out of airplanes. So it's like, yeah, you think about that. But wow. So obviously, being in bed for a year and then the recovery from that, I'm assuming was all, was quite slow and stuff.
Yeah, very slow, and on and off. There's always something that happens, and then you eventually figure out that the origin or cause of what's happening right now is what happened when I was 3.
Right.
So it's just, yeah, I think yeah. So when somebody talks about setbacks, I think that was definitely the biggest one.
I can
all of the
imagine,
others.
but it sounds like it's giving you, as you said, it's made you fight for stuff. Life, obviously. I broke my leg. Technically from a skydive. Well, it wasn't really from a skydive. It was from the landing, although, there was a problem when I landed. My wife says I was an absolute idiot for jumping out of the plane in the first place. I say it was a perfect skydive. She disagrees. But anyway, physics took over. I was in bed for a month with my foot up, and I knew I got absolutely out of it and stuff. And as you say, being in bed for a year, but being able to fight through it and recover and come through it must give you such awesome mental strength to be able to plow through stuff.
Yep, yeah. And I guess that's one of the reasons why any setbacks after that, they don't really feel like setbacks, because, I mean, something bad happens and then you think about what happened before and like, this is not that big.
Yeah.
So yeah, just good and bad about what happened. So
that's amazing. You should be a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to share that story with a lot of people, because yeah, I'm sure it happens to a lot of people. I'm sure it doesn't come out that often. It's because it's not a pleasant thing, and not a lot of people feel comfortable talking about it. But I think people who have managed to come out of it should definitely talk about it. If not anything, it'll give hope and strength to people who need it right now. So
indeed, that's true. Well, this episode is going to be live shortly, so this possibly is the first step to sharing the message.
Yep. Awesome. That's awesome.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, I've been through stuff. Look, lots of people have been through various things. We don't need to list. This is really not a competition at all. But as you say, helps us with our mental fortitude. So when something difficult is happening, whether it's something physical or something emotional or something mental, or something in the personal life, something in your work life, how do you see? Some people look at something and say, that's insurmountable, I'm just going to give up, or I'm going to find it really difficult. How are you able to describe what goes through your mind when something difficult happens and how you approach it, and essentially knowing you're going to get through it because it doesn't pale in comparison?
So I'm going to be honest. The first feeling I get whenever something difficult happens is why me? Why me, and why always me is my question to myself, and to the spirit, to the God, whoever you believe in. Then pretty soon I realized that that asking that question is pretty meaningless, because everybody's probably asking the same question. So then it's all about thinking. I analyze a lot. I think one of the things that my wife complains about me is that I overanalyze stuff.
Yeah.
But I definitely start analyzing why that difficulty happened in the first place. Was it because of something that I did? Was it something that I could have controlled? Because if yes, I first need to figure out or write down what that thing was that I could have done differently, so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should be doing that before solving the current problem, but that's just how my brain works. I start analyzing, making sure it doesn't happen again. If it's something not in my control, of course, I can't do much about it. And then it just goes to the next logical step of figuring out what's the best possible outcome that I want to strive for. And once I pick out the outcome, because not every problem has the same desired outcome for everybody. It's not the same, right? So I figure out the one that I really want, and then just I have point A, I have point B. I just need to connect the dots and figure out the best possible route. So
Wow.
trust me, it sounds simple, but I think there's a lot of activity going on in the brain when something like this happens, and it happens.
I agree with you.
Often.
I agree. It sounds simple, especially with emotional topics, or when we're emotionally invested in something. Right. It's very difficult to carry out that sort of process.
Right.
Indeed.
But
wow.
Like it's one of those things where if those kind of things stop happening, it'll feel as if there's a void in my life. So those things have happened so many times that I'm kind of used to them by now, and I don't know how I'll react when none of those things will happen. But yeah, it's just these are the things that bring fun, and makes you competitive with yourself.
Yeah,
and that's the best kind of competition I like, because if you can beat yourself, if you can win a challenge against yourself, you can win any challenge in the world, is what I think.
That is very true. That is, and a very powerful message. Very powerful. And really, Hardit, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all of this with us.
Oh, always a pleasure. And hopefully we can, have more conversations.
Most definitely. Viewers, we hope that you've learned a heck of a lot from this conversation, because I can tell you, I was not expecting this at all for it. Feel free to check out the rest of the Oops Factor playlist, subscribe to the channel, and take a look at the blog. And if you would like to come on the show, put your details in the link that's below. Click the link and it will allow you to enter your details. And I'll reach out, because I'd love to have you on the show. But above all, have an amazing day.